Yes, good evening and welcome to Tuesday's programme. First tonight, solicitors, barristers and QCs demonstrated outside one of the region's biggest courts today against controversial plans to change the legal aid system.
The government wants to save £200 million, but its critics say those cuts could jeopardise the right to a fair trial. Well, in a moment, we'll hear the views of the former Solicitor General. But first, now this report from Rebecca Sheeran.
They're normally inside the courts, but today solicitors and barristers from Leicester were protesting against proposed cuts to legal aid.
We all work really hard to look after people that have got themselves into situations that they never thought they would. It's important that we retain this continuity and that people support this campaign.
We have done our bit for austerity. We've had pay cuts since 1997 and not a single pay rise. We take the view that these cuts are so dramatic that they will result in miscarriages of justice.
The plans will see fewer but bigger organisations providing legal aid, and defendants would lose the right to choose their solicitor. Mark from the East Midlands needed legal aid and says if it wasn't for that choice, he believes he could have been sent to prison.
It could, say, be a major factor if there's people that have to be allocated barristers or solicitors that they're not comfortable with, happy with, and have not got their interests at heart. So it could have a massive effect on people's family life.
They were also protesting about the rates they'd be paid. So how much do these barristers actually earn? Well, according to the Ministry of Justice, 65% of criminal barristers who do legal aid earn less than £50,000 a year. The Bar Council in London says that that's equivalent to the salary of an experienced teacher, and it's also very close to the salary of a London Underground driver. In a statement, the Justice Secretary Chris Grayling said, "We have one of the most expensive legal aid systems in the world, with about £1 billion a year spent just on criminal legal aid. These changes are about getting the best value for the taxpayer and will not in any way affect someone's right to a fair trial." Today, these protesters are hoping he'll change his mind. Rebecca Sheeran, BBC East Midlands Today.
Well, earlier I spoke to the Harborough MP and former Solicitor General Sir Edward Garnier. He met the Justice Secretary last night, so I asked him if Chris Grayling was prepared to budge.
Well, he's waiting to receive all of the answers to the government consultation, but what he does have to deal with is the government spending problems, and one way or the other he's got to find about £220 million worth of savings out of his legal aid budget. But he's listening. He wants to find out other ways of doing it if they can come forward with good suggestions.
Now, in the past, you've said that the legal aid system shouldn't be immune to cuts. Have you changed your view on that?
No, the legal aid system is not immune to cuts, but that doesn't mean doing anything. It means doing what is sensible. And of course, the criminal justice system is very delicate. It requires people of skill, people of professional integrity, to perform the task of defending and prosecuting in criminal cases, but it also requires sufficient resources to enable professionals to do the job.
But do you have reservations?
I do at the minute. I may have to change my mind when Chris Grayling comes up with his responses to the consultation.
And what are those reservations around?
Well, my concern is that good criminal practitioners, be they barristers or solicitors, will, if we're not careful, no longer afford to be able to do the work. They're not being paid big sums of money like commercial barristers, tax barristers. They receive very little in the way of income. And if they leave the profession, then we won't get the young, bright people moving on to becoming QCs, doing the more complex cases, and then we won't get the judges who grow out of the QCs to try these complex criminal cases. Now, you may say that doesn't matter. Well, I happen to think it does matter.
But on one other point, where are people going to go to get legal aid, bearing in mind that the number of firms available to them is going to be severely reduced?
Well, that's the immediate problem. If the plans go through as currently advertised, and we're not sure about that yet, well, then there will be a reduction in the number of practitioners, either as individual barristers or as legal aid solicitors' firms. If you're in Market Harborough and you're arrested, you'll have to go to Birmingham, or possibly, if you can find one in Leicester, or even to London to find a lawyer who will be able to represent you. And justice must be accessible, not just to the prosecution, but also to the defence.
So, Edward Garnier, thank you.
Not at all.